Hey, thanks for coming by Tori Magoo 44. Today is the 17th of October, and this is Mrs. Witch. Here she is. Let me show you her legs. She's got fantastically long legs. Anyway, she's going to do a little interview with me regarding frequently asked questions. All right, so we're just going to start out. She's going to whisper in my ear, and then I'm going to answer it. Really? Okay. All right, the first one is, does Scientology really work? Which you've been hearing that it doesn't. Well, here's the sad truth. To the people that are in, she's right, it doesn't work. To the people that are thinking about joining, it doesn't work. To we who are out, good news, we're out and we don't have to pay for it anymore. There are some little things that work, and people ask me about that all the time. Tell me one that you think that I should tell them about. Okay, fair enough. I've talked about it before. Some people really don't like the communication course. I thought it was pretty good. It basically is small tools on being there, facing another person, how to deliver a communication. Did you get my communication? She got it. All right. Anyway, it goes on. It has acknowledgements. One of the biggest ones you'll see if you listen around to any people, a lot of people say things and the other person doesn't get it. They don't acknowledge it. The old days, when I got in 1969, there were just a few acknowledgements. It was good, fine, thank you, okay, or all right. That was it. Now, in the 80s, Hubbard came up with an acceptable, it was sort of like an appropriate acknowledgement. So, like, a true story, my mother called. I was on course on the Dynetics course in, I think, 71 or 2. I got an emergency phone call. My mother said she was just hysterical crying. And she said, you know, your father went into the hospital, he had a heart attack, and he died. And I said, thank you for telling me that. How are you doing? You know, which was just so inappropriate when you think about it. I mean, it's just awful. But that's what I said back then. And later, appropriate acknowledgments, which could be anything from like, oh my God, you know, I'm so sorry to hear that. Whatever. It would be something that ends the communication, but lets the person know you got it. All right, so that's one of them. Anyway, they have some basic tools that are things that I like, but there aren't a lot of them, and the rest of them is all kind of this hook trying to get you onto the next level and the next level, which I've talked about a lot through my different posts. All right, so let's hear what her next question is. No, I don't think so. Really? No, I don't think so. All right. She wants me to ask you, do you guys have any frequently asked questions that you'd like me to answer that I haven't answered? And I was like, nah, that's not going to work. But then I thought maybe she's right, because she said you could write them, you can make a post, and then I can do a video about answering them. So that's kind of a good idea. Thank you very much. She comes up with good things. All right, so let's hear another frequently asked question. That's a good question. All right, how much does it cost to do Scientology? Now, this is an interesting question because Scientology says they're a religion. You have to understand it's like a triangle. As you go up it gets higher and higher and higher in expense. You have to pay it. It's not a donation. They call it a donation, but you have to pay it. It's a fixed price. So it really is a business. It really isn't a religion. It's an absolute business. The fact that they're or that they're tax exempt free is awful, because it is a business and they should be paying taxes on it. So it costs, that's a good question, how much does it cost? I paid at least, I would say probably $500,000 to $1 million to get up to OT7 and on OT7. I know my mother-in-law gave $200,000, which is our inheritance, for each, my husband and I, to do just OT4 through 7, or OT4 through 8. So that's an awful lot of money right there. And then we had paid for stuff ourselves, and I did a lot of co-auditing, which is where you would audit me and I would audit you. That would be kind of fun. Anyway, so there you go on that. So it's very, very expensive, and you also have to pay. There's other things along with it. There's the, should I tell them? Yeah. The IAS, which is a thing. It's extra money that you have to pay. There's donations for all kinds of things that they're always springing on you that you need to do. All right, so let me think of, let's see, do you have any other questions that you can think of? Okay. How much time do people spend in Scientology? That's a good question. They have two sides to their bridge to total freedom, which is really a bridge into the ditch, just so you know. One is training, where you're learning how to be an auditor or management. And the other one is auditing or counseling. And it really depends on the person. Some people can spend almost full time doing it, and some people can spend just a little bit of time doing it, and it takes them a really long time. I did it a lot, but then I did it on and off. I became a mom, so I was really busy with my son, and I was working, so I had a job. I had different things going on. So in between that, I would be training or auditing, that kind of thing. So it can be a lot of time, but it can also be sprinkled around. That's a good one. Does everyone have to be on staff? No, they don't. So you've got public, and then you've got staff, and then you've got C organization. Okay. The difference in the staff and the C organization. Staff are usually day, and they're days. They're all day, all day long, and they have the nights and weekends off. And then there's another staff that come in nights and weekends, and they can work in the day at a regular job. So that's staff, and they're usually 2.5-year contracts, or they're also 5-year contracts. So that's how the staff is. The Sea Org is a billion-year contract. Really? Okay. All right, I'm going to tell you. She said, tell you everything about the Sea Org. Now, first of all, my friend John is going to do a whole series on the Sea Org because he was in it a lot longer than I was. But I do know some very basic things about the Sea Org. You have to work a ton. They swear, they promise you when you get in that you're going to get your bridge to total freedom if you join the Sea Org, and you're going to be really helping mankind, which neither of those are true at all. You can ask most staff members, they're not even clear. And, Scientology has their whole thing from nothing all the way up to OT8. Clear is, way down there. And most staff members are not even clear. So they don't really get what they promise. And they work them to death. You eat pretty crummy food. You don't get any vacations. It's really hard to get away. They censor every single letter. They open it up and read it. They censor every phone call. Now, these are things, if you listen to this, you'd be thinking, who would ever do something like that? But you have to remember, it's a mind control thing where you're not joining that way. No one's saying these things to you. You're not thinking of it that way. Okay? All right. That's a good one, too. Okay, she asked me to mention to you that now Louis Farrakhan is now going clear. Louis Farrakhan is one of the leaders in the Nation of Islam, which is a black organization, a Muslim organization. And they joined a while ago saying, we're just with Dianetics, right? But now he's going clear. So that's Scientology. So we'll see where that goes. There's a really great Facebook account called Scientology Invasion of the Black Community, and I highly recommend you go check it out. They have great stuff on it, where you can actually hear these people talking, like Louis Farrakhan pitching Dianetics, and there's L. Ron Hubbard up in the front, the picture of him, and you're just like, this is unbelievable. So that's a good one. Oh, okay, yeah. He does. L. Ron Hubbard has some awfully horrible racist remarks that he says in, just in general. And you can type in Hubbard plus racist remarks and they'll come up and you can read them. But I heard Louis Farrakhan say, I know, to the Nation of Islam. I know about his different comments. First of all, we don't know if that's true, which is bullshit. He did say him. Secondly, he's in the ground, which is another... Where did that come from? David Miscavige, thank you very much. Trying to just 86 Hubbard out of the picture, which is really funny. And then third of all, he didn't care. And I said to him on the Facebook site, you just went from the Honorable Reverend Louis Farrakhan to Yo Louie in my book. And that's true. Because there's thousands and thousands of people, myself included, who have stood up for black rights for years. And then to have someone say, he doesn't really care? Oh, hello? What money are you getting, man? I know what he's getting. He's getting 10%, right? Okay. Yeah. Whenever you get someone onto a course in Scientology, you get 10% of that. So think about it. If you get someone to donate $500,000, you get 10% of that. It's a lot of money. So there are people that do that all the time. That's what they do. So anyway, that's a few of the frequently asked questions that are often asked to me. How did I get in? Right? Okay. Yeah, I was in college and someone gave me a Dianetics book. And I read it. I read only about 3 chapters, but I was sort of looking for a higher power anyway, and I thought, this is it. L. Ron Hubbard, this is fantastic. I can clear people. And I literally came into Scientology with that in mind, to help other people. That was my interest. Oh, yeah? All right. Okay, here's a couple of great books that she said I should recommend, the books that I think are good for you to read. There's a bunch of them. A Piece of Blue Sky is a really good one by John Atack. L. Ron Hubbard, Messiah or Madman by Ben Corden. There's also Barefaced Messiah by Russell Miller. Mark Headley has written a really good book called Blown for Good, which is all about the top dogs and what it's like living there. Amy Scobie wrote a book. Jeff Hawkins wrote a book. Nancy Maney wrote a book. My Billion-Year Contract. Jeff Hawkins' Counterfeit Dreams. They're really good books to read, to learn about Scientology. I highly recommend that anyone, even considering joining, definitely learn about it before you do it. Okay. Oh, good one. Okay. Here's another one. If you happen to be a business person and they come into your business and say, we can 3x your money, which is what WISE does. It's the World Institute for Scientology Enterprises. Run for your life. Get them out of there. Do not do it. It is under the umbrella of the Church of Scientology. The real goal of WISE is to get people onto the bridge and up the bridge. It's a big scam. So be careful on it, because a lot of doctors, dentists, chiropractors, they go after that. They know they make a lot of money. They know they have a lot of people that they can get into Scientology, and that is their goal. All right. Okay. All right, we're going to end off here, but I just wanted to thank you so much, everyone who has helped expose the Church of Scientology, and thank you for your questions. And if you have any that you'd like to have answered, please put them in the comments, and then maybe we'll do a part 2. If there's enough questions, we'll do a part 2. Thank you very much. All right. And for you all, peace out. I love you. Have a wonderful rest of the week. Bye-bye.